Hey, welcome back to the shop. Today I am going to throw out a video on another chainsaw. I know if you watched one of my earlier videos, I said I was going to put my chainsaw addiction on hold until after the first year, but couldn't make it. So let's get into it. There she is, newest addition to my chainsaw collection. Pioneer P25. Really cool saw. To be honest with you, I didn't know a whole lot about this saw until after I got it home and started doing some research on it. Saw itself's in pretty good shape. Pioneer, for those of you that don't know, these saws were made in Canada. This is a 51cc saw. It was made between 1973 and 1976. From the factory, they came with decomp, factory decomp, which I did not know. I'm assuming that's what this easy arc starting means. When I went to go pick up the saw, though, it felt like it had no compression. But after going through what I did with my Pioneer farm saw, I quickly put the pieces together. I asked the guy, I said, does this have an internal decomp? And he looked at me with a puzzled look on his face. He had absolutely no idea what I was talking about, and I said, hey, don't worry about it, I'll figure it out. Anyway, we started it up. Thing ran great. No issues with it whatsoever. Like I said, it's in pretty good shape. Original bar, roller nose, original chain, I think. It is not sharp, and you can see those rakers. Those rakers are almost taller than the teeth. So I'm gonna have to knock those rakers down and get the chain sharp before I even think about putting it in the wood. But it's got the natural patina that I like on these vintage saws. A little bit of paint missing on the sprocket cover and back on the handle. I'll flip it over. Surprisingly, there isn't a whole lot of paint gone from the underside of this saw, which makes me think that maybe this doesn't have a whole lot of hours on it, as old as it is. But like I said, there's just not a lot missing from the bottom like I would expect. While I've got this over, these mufflers, love these mufflers. I don't know what Pioneer did with their mufflers, but you can see that single port there. To look at the muffler, you wouldn't think it would be all that great in terms of sound, but it takes these saws to a whole nother level in terms of sound. These things sound like a lot bigger saw than they really are. Really digging those mufflers. One crazy thing about this saw, you can see that handle. It's a flat handle. All they've done is put a plastic rubber type sleeve around this handle, and what that does is it's got a hump on the top, you can see, and a hump on the bottom, so it kind of creates this diamond shaped handle, so it doesn't feel so flat in your hand. To be honest with you, I notice it, but it's not bothersome. But it's the only saw I've ever seen that doesn't have a round handle, and there's not much that I think you can do about it. You can see right there that it's just, you know, you'd have to alter the sprocket cover to get a round handle to fit in there somehow. I don't know, I may look at that someday. I don't know if that's even feasible. It is automatic oiler only. There is no manual oiler back here on the back. You've got your choke. And then over here, you've got your throttle lock. And then your ignition switch. The cover, as you can see, has a hole on the top of it, and that is going to be a big problem. It is a big problem. I'll talk about that when I take it off here in a second. But you can also see that on the back side here, there's a big chunk of the cover missing too. So if I can find another cover for this, I'm definitely going to put it on, but I've got to get this fixed right here. Like I said, that's a big issue. I'll show you in a second. Low jet adjustment only. high jet is fixed, and then there's also an idle adjustment. Oil, fuel in the front. It's missing dogs. I've got to get some dogs for it. But like I said, the saw overall, it's in great shape. I cleaned it up a little bit. The biggest issue was under here, and I'll show you. So the cover has got a little foam gasket, but there is no air filter, and that is a huge problem, because what that does is it just sucks everything through this hole and down into the carburetor box. When I got home and I pulled this cover off, there was about 1/4 inch of chips, gas, and oil mixed all throughout this entire carburetor box. I couldn't even tell what kind of carb was on here. And you can see now it's a Tillotson. I also have a problem with the fuel line down here, as you can see. That's going to need to be replaced. I'll just go through the whole saw, replace all the lines. But I couldn't even tell there was a fuel line down there. There was so much crud in the bottom. I literally took my shop vac and vacuumed this thing out. There was so much in here. How this saw started and how it was even running is beyond me. I have never seen a saw with that much crud in the carb box. It just blows my mind. So again, I'm gonna have to get an air filter for this. And the crazy thing is, well, it's not crazy, but the carb sticks up. So it's not easy to just take a piece of fabric and throw it over the top. I've got to get one of those domed filters, kind of like a Poulin or a McCulloch. And I'm having a hard time finding them, to be honest with you. If you know anyone or any company that sells air filters for these P25s, please let me know. I'd be happy to take it off their hands. You can see some of the remnants of all the crud down in there. Still, I've got to get down in there, clean it up a little bit better. But until I get a filter for this and I get the chain sharpened and get those rakers knocked down, there's really not much I can do in the way of cutting with this saw. So I'll go pop it off for you, let you listen to it. It sounds great, like I said, with those mufflers. It's a pretty cool little saw. To be honest with you, these Pioneers are starting to grow on me a little bit. Nah, not a little bit, a lot. They're just a solid saw. I mean, they look good, they sound good. My farm saw performs well. I got nothing bad to say about them. They're easy to work on too. So anyway, let's go pop this thing off. Well, that's a Pioneer P25. Just some minor adjustments, and she was running pretty good. Like I said, I still don't know how this thing was running with so much crud in the carburetor box, but I'm not going to pull that carb off until it starts giving me issues. It seems to be running all right. So look for this in an upcoming video once I get a filter for it, and like I said, I get the chain sharpened and those rakers knocked down. I'll get it in the wood and see what she's got. But thanks for joining me, and I'll catch you on the next video.